This podcast is part of the Michigan Sports and Entertainment Podcast Network. Go to michigansportsandentertainment.com for more great podcasts.
A round of applause for your search results. You have found Things I Found Online, a podcast sort of about the internet, but more about the people who use it. Today we are exploring the world of professional child performers. Your kid could be really good at something like soccer or karate or chess or sand art. But the one activity that places your little angel in a professional world of adults who are functioning at the highest level of their game, paying her real money and expecting results, is show business. Are you ready for that? Is your child ready for that? We've got experts. I am Louise Palanker here with Ryan Tabb, and joining us is actor-comedian Amy Anderson, actor Scott Schwartz, and from New York, actor Eric Chouette. Are you there, Eric?
I am doing very well. How are you guys doing?
We're pretty good. What room are you in?
I'm in the living room with a blue sheet behind me.
Oh, okay, because it had like sort of a closet feel to it. Wanted to make sure that you weren't being held against.
In the closet. That didn't sound right. I know what you mean.
No, but it looks professional. And we get to see that
laundry. As I was setting up like 30 minutes prior.
You could do a self-tape audition now. Go ahead.
There you go.
And that's literally what I'm doing right after this.
Yeah, and clearly laundry has been done. So yay. So we're going to begin with stand-up comedian and actor Amy Anderson. I met Amy probably somewhere along the stand-up way, but I remember having like a really fun conversation with you at Sean Polofsky's wedding.
Yeah, I think,
yeah.
Wedding.
And I was like, oh, tell me about your child. And you were like, my child is, you probably already know what she looks like. I'm like, show me a picture of your child. And Amy was like, you probably already know what my child looks like. So tell us why.
My daughter is Aubrey Anderson Emmons. She plays Lily on Modern Family. And she's been in that role for 8 years already.
How old was she when she was
She just turned 4 when she booked it. So, I mean, she essentially was still a 3-year-old. I mean, literally the month before had just turned 4. So it's been well over half of her life. She doesn't even remember the first year of the show, really. Few things here and there she remembers. But
so tell us how that came to be.
She ended up on the show kind of on a weird whim. It just came up because I've been a working actor for 23 years and made my living primarily as a comedian in the early part of my career, and did a lot of theater acting back in Minneapolis. Then I moved to LA in 2001. So I always had an agent, but was doing more stand-up at the time. But my agent saw that they were recasting the role. So the first 2 seasons of the show, Lily was played by twins, which usually happens in the business when they're babies. And she was 1-year-old, and then she was a 2-year-old. And the twins who played her, like, they didn't like being there. They cried all the time because you're just like a living prop when you're an infant. And then they wanted the kids to grow into the role, and they just weren't liking it. So they knew they had to recast it. And my agent saw this breakdown that they were recasting the role. My daughter happens to look a lot like those little girls. She did then, at least. And she contacted me and said, hey, you should let me submit your daughter for this role. And I was like, no, that's okay. We're good. She's going to preschool right now. She's fine. I had no interest in her being in this business because I'd been in it for a long time and I know how hard it is, and just wanted her to be normal and to have like health insurance and stuff. So, and now she has a better plan than I do, whatever. But she really was like, I really think she have a good chance at it. She really was kind of pushing me. And I said, well, let me talk to Aubrey about it. Because she was a pretty bright little 4-year-old. And I asked her if she was interested in trying out to be on a TV show. And I kept impressing upon her that, like, look, you're probably not going to get it. They're going to see lots of little girls. It's just to see if you like it. Do you want to try or not? You don't have to. And she was like, yeah, I want to try. She really wanted to try. So I let my agent submit her. And 10 days later, I was signing a network contract for like the biggest show in the world at that time, like sitcom. And it's been, here it is 8 years later. They're going to go into their 11th season this August. Wow. It'll be her 9th year on the show.
Yeah. And usually when it comes to sitcoms, it's like maybe a pilot that doesn't get picked up and it doesn't become something as massive as Modern Family.
Yeah, so if a sitcom goes like 3 to 5 years, that's considered a pretty decent success for a sitcom. So to win, I mean, other than Frasier, they're the only sitcom that won 5 consecutive Emmys in a row for Best Comedy. And so, I mean, it was like a really, really huge thing at its peak for sure.
So are the two of you engaging in an ongoing conversation about what all this means and what truly matters in life and how to keep everything in perspective?
What does matter in life? If I knew that, jeez. No,
I mean, I think cheese.
Oh
cheese-
God, yes.
cheese matters
Paired with
and
wine.
pudding. I think
Oh my God, I love pudding.
right?
People
No.
think I'm weird when I say that. I'm like, pudding is so good. What are you talking about?
I don't even. Please,
Pudding over ice cream.
Oh, no. Sorry, that one just like offended me a little bit.
No.
I had to chime in. That was like, no.
Yeah, ice cream's so overrated.
So
Anyway,
she's
yes,
because she's now
yes.
she's an adolescent. Which is already confusing for people.
Well,
to-
she just turned 12 on Thursday, so I mean, she is an adolescent.
That's an
She's not a
adolescent,
teen.
huh?
Yeah, she's a tween.
she's a tween, and you're already trying to figure out like who am I and what am I about and what matters to me, and then she's doing it in the public eye where when you guys walk through the world, people recognize her, and so you're already worried that everyone's looking at you. But like in her case, like undeniably everyone is looking.
She doesn't seem to mind.
So she has the personality. So she has the right
She
personality.
kind of does, but I also, and fitting for the show, I think that's a little bit part of their generation because everything is social media. So not that I'm encouraging to flaunt herself online, but it certainly doesn't freak her out. When she was younger, she did not like being recognized. And this is when she was like 5, 6, 7, because it was still really new to her. And you go through such crazy developmental periods when you're growing like that, right? And I mean, you go through phases where like 2 weeks you're like this, and then 2 weeks you're totally different, right? When you're a little kid. So, when she was younger, like early elementary age, she got a little freaked out about strangers coming up to her to the point where I was worried that she would become agoraphobic or something. And so I would be a lot more protective of her, try to sort of shield her from the fact that people were staring or like doing that weird cell phone thing where they pretend they're like, reading an article, but they're actually taking 100 photos of you eating lunch, that kind of thing. And so I would just kind of like strategically place my body and block people and stuff like that. But as she got older, she started to realize it. And now she's very pro about it. Like if she sees people coming, she's either ready for it. And if she feels freaked out by that person, she just gives me a look like, Mom, can you please step in? And I do.
Yeah.
But as far as the conversation, absolutely. We talk about it a lot, about what it means to grow up like this and how can we stay normal and sane. It's really important.
And that's really healthy. Yeah, go ahead,
I
Ryan.
was just going to ask if that challenge has kind of dissipated of being recognized and whatnot. At least it's changed a little bit. What are some of the challenges, at least, that you see her going through now and at her age right now at like 12 and in that tween period?
Well, I think she's experiencing a lot of the same things that kids go through. They, start to hit puberty, and it's just a weird age because the boys are still like 4 feet tall and the girls look like supermodels. And I mean, it's just awkward. Everybody's awkward and weird at this age. She's going to be. I know, I'm still awkward too. Like she's surpassed me in maturity like years ago. I was never that mature. I still am not, but she will be in 7th grade next fall, or this coming fall rather. And so it's a weird time for anyone. But I think like for her, it's actually been a kind of a blessing in that she's grown up working with adults and in very professional settings with like some of the best, and she knows how to handle herself.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of learn you can hang with anyone.
Right.
Like
Right.
if these super talented people want me around, like that means I can hang with anyone.
Yeah, she's a very mature 12.
And
Very mature.
And you
12.
went through something very similar, Scotty. When you were little, you were already hanging with Richard Pryor, and
Yeah, but I was already 13 going on and 14 and all that.
but what was your first job? Do you remember it?
Well, of course.
Well, let's talk.
Well, hold on. Your daughter also has the benefit of working with Ed O'Neill, who I've known for over 30 years. And Ed
He's
is
such a great guy.
is just a fantastic human being. He's never changed. He's kind. He's sweet. He's good to kids. He's good to fans, and he understands and knows. And the fact that she sees how he is, and if she has questions,
really
I'm sure she
great
could ask
role
him.
models on her
He's
show.
fantastic. Yeah.
Jesse and Eric, who play her dads, are also terrific, and they help her so much. Like they
Brought her
basically
up.
that was her acting school.
Yeah.
She had never acted before she started on that show.
Is she going to PCS or is she going to another school? Where
She's
enrolled?
homeschooled right now, and she goes to a school that's actually part of a public district, but it's geared toward kids in the industry or professional athletes as well. And so a lot of her friends who are on like Nickelodeon and Disney shows and stuff, they go to school there as well. So it's not an actual. There is a physical building where they go once a week to check in with their teacher. They hand in assignments. They get new work. They have like book lab and stuff like that. But most of the learning is done on set or at home.
Okay. So you grew up in New York.
You, Scotty.
Yes.
And whose idea is that, this kid has beautiful blue eyes, he should be in showbiz?
I was going to a film co-op society where it was all adults. I started going there. I was 5.5 years old with my dad. And after going for a couple of years, one of the other members said, I'm producing this commercial. You're very outgoing. I think you'd be great at this. We're shooting a Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink commercial. It's 3 days in Miami Beach, Florida with Yogi Berra from the Yankees and blah, blah, blah. Would you like to do it? Sounds fun. Yes, Dad. Whatever. Okay. I was.
Chocolate milk and baseball?
Yeah.
It's not chocolate milk. It's chocolate drink. They
okay.
be very
Chocolate
specific
drink,
about
that's right.
It's chocolate water, basically,
right.
isn't it?
I was very nonchalant about it. At the same time, it was like, yeah, this sounds cool. Okay. Did it on the way. I'm actually on the flight back. He was on the flight back with us, and he's like, you're great. You got to keep doing this. If you like it, I got a casting agent, and, we'll introduce you to people, so forth. Met the casting director. She was really nice. She introduced me to 2 agents, and 3 weeks later, I was signed, and here we go.
All right, so we have Scotty's IMDb, and as a child actor, Scott is best known for The Toy with Richard Pryor, after-school specials, and of course his iconic performance in A Christmas Story.
Yeah, but see, that's like the stuff that people know. It's the stuff that people don't know that's even more fun.
But what I want to know is, on a given day, how often does someone triple dog dare you?
Yeah, whatever. A couple times, it's like, okay.
A couple times a day?
Yeah.
Do you smack them?
No.
Okay.
No, I laugh at them mostly. See, my what I found like very enjoyable was I did Broadway. I did Frankenstein on Broadway.
Okay, cool. When we talk to Eric, Eric's the Broadway kid.
At the time, it was the biggest non-musical flop in the history of Broadway. We had
Congratulations.
Thank you. We had 29 previews in opening night. We had 50-foot-high stages. The blind man was John Carradine. John Glover was Dr. Frankenstein's best friend. 2-time Academy Award winner Diane Wiest was Elizabeth.
Oh,
what did you play?
Dr. Frankenstein's younger brother. I got killed on stage every night. It was great. I mean, listen, doing the films, Richard Pryor, Jackie Gleason, the term priceless. There's no other way to call it that. In retrospect, as they say, we're so many years later and the world has changed. Well, I was taught by 2 of the most non-PC people in Hollywood how to act, how to think, how to react to timing, how to give opinions. I mean, Richard was my close friend from the day I met him until the day he passed. And so it's a lot of fun now to be able to interact with people and say, I hate to tell you this, but this is what I know. This is how I was brought up. And this is who taught me, and you always have to have respect for the elders, and their wisdom and knowledge. And so I've run with it and had nothing but fun with it.
And you've learned a lot and you're passing it on.
42 years later, I'm still here somehow, and I'm not a druggie. I'm not an alcoholic. None of that stuff.
It's all the bottled water.
It's all the bottled water.
You.
That's right.
Are you there, Eric?
Yes, I am.
So Eric, you're a New York actor. Can you tell us how you got started?
Well, I wasn't always from New York. I started in Florida at much as a very young child, 5 years old, and my mom threw me into a theater program because I was very energetic and I had a lot of extra energy, and my teacher said it would be good for me. So that's what I did. I was thrown into a theater program, and we did a bunch of shows like Guys and Dolls Jr., a lot of junior shows, Bugsy Malone and stuff like that. And, I loved it. I had an absolute blast. I had no intention of going really far with it. It was just something that I did as spare time. And then a vocal coach who studied at Boston Conservatory said, hey, you have a really good potential here. I want to work with you, but you're going to need to audition for me. I'm like, okay. You have another show coming up. I'm like, yes, I'm Genie in Aladdin. Come see it. He's like, okay, I got your tickets. So I got him tickets. He sat down. He watched the show. Thought it was great. He took me in, and now I'm 11 years old, and I've been studying classically like opera for a few years. He said I had to go to New York, so I went to New York, which is where I currently reside. I like in the 1 month trial run that my parents said I had to like book something of substantial value.
Wow.
No pressure.
I
1
booked the
month.
world premiere opera, 2 other operas, and Sound of Music National Tour.
Wow. So you played
that's how that all
Friedrich.
started.
You played Friedrich in Sound of Music National Tour.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
played-
think, didn't we meet
I
you
was
here?
the second youngest. The only person younger than me was the Gretel.
Did we meet you when you were here in Los Angeles? Did you come here?
Did you guys meet me?
Did you come? Did you perform at the Amundsen in Los Angeles?
I did. I did perform.
We
at the
met
Amundsen.
you backstage. Aubrey and I came back and met you guys.
Oh my gosh.
And are you good
Okay,
friends with
it's great
Mia?
to see
Are you
you
good
again.
friends with Mia Sinclair Janess?
Not
I'm trying to
necessarily.
remember. Anyway,
like-
I think we know a lot of people in common though. But
Yeah, we definitely do. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I do. It's been a long time, but like I do remember that.
Who's your
Yeah.
agent in New York?
My current agent is Innovative Artists. They are fantastic.
it's getting so industry up in here
Yes.
I love it. So who did you take tap from? No. So is Aubrey interested in musical theater as well?
You know, she was obsessed with it for so long. Now, and it makes me a little sad because I wish she still had that desire to do it. Not that I want her to like be on Broadway or anything. I could care less. But she and I still are huge musical theater nerds. I mean, we love it.
Me too,
We
I'm a
just
big nerd.
we just saw 5 shows in like 5 days.
Oh,
we were
that's
there
so
a
much
See
couple
fun.
weeks
beautiful.
ago.
Have you seen Beautiful?
No,
Yes, I
I
saw
haven't
it
seen that
twice.
one yet.
Oh my God, you're gonna love it.
Marvelous.
It's so
I
great.
know, I really. But we anyway. So we love it. But when she was little, it was the year that Alan Cummings Cabaret was in revival, and
Oh, she
we were
was-
watching the Tonys.
She was obsessed with him.
She was
I remember that.
obsessed with Alan Cummings. I had the only like 6-year-old who was obsessed with Alan Cummings.
How
But she
cute.
saw him perform the number from Cabaret on the Tonys. And she literally was on the screen like, oh, what is this? I must know. And you want to hear the really crazy thing? When I was about the same age, I had the exact same experience watching Joel Grey on the
Oh
Tonys.
my
And I was like,
Wait, me
whoa,
too.
my
I had
life
the
is like,
exact
wow,
same
wow.
experience.
It's genetic.
Isn't that nuts? And so
Did you?
Yeah, I had the exact same experience with Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, where you're just like, what is this? I have to know
when
more
he
about this.
performed the opening of what was the show? Book of Mormon.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Amazing, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
And you went to the Tonys, right, Eric?
I did. I just went to the Tonys.
So tell us about that.
Well, I got there and there were, a lot of people. This is my 3rd time going now. And James Corden, despite the fact he's never been on Broadway as far as I know of, he's a fantastic singer. He's got a really good voice and he really knows how to entertain a crowd. So it was really good seeing him there. The Tonys actually did run like 15 minutes over, which is not that
That's not
uncommon.
bad.
So, I mean, other than that, there were a lot of, like, I wanted Be More Chill to be nominated for more than they did. They only got 1 nomination for Best Original Score, which Hadestown obviously won.
Woohoo.
But other than that, the Tonys were really fun.
So what I want to ask the panel is, do you feel that your childhood is being somewhat interrupted or augmented by all of the professional responsibilities, or and your daughters, or do you feel that without this you would have been bored, or Aubrey wouldn't have been challenged enough, or you, Eric? Like, is it something that certain kids need despite the professional aspect of it, that you just need to, that you aspire to perform at that level, and that without it you'd be kind of just rattling around?
See, like, for me, I aspire to be on an extreme professional level. I
Mhm.
don't, not being professional in a sense, though I do love casual. Like, there are certain things that I do like being casual about when it comes to theater and singing and whatever. Like cabaret settings, like those they tend to be more casual for me, especially if I know everyone in the audience and like they know me and how I like to perform, and it makes my life so much easier. However, when I'm performing at Carnegie Hall, it's all serious.
But see, like, most people aren't even having
first
a
question.
cabaret setting. That's not in their conversation. Like, Mom, you know what? After dinner, I really feel like some Fortnite and then a cabaret setting. So you're already kind of really challenging yourself, Eric. So this is what you need to feed your soul, correct?
Yes, I need this. I would be quite lost without it at this point because I grew up around it. Like, it would be hard to not. Like, of course, I play video games and do other things that a kid would do, but I am not an average teenager in the slightest. I do a lot of other things that like adults do. Like, I work on cars. Like, what 15-year-old uses his time, his free time, mind you, to work on cars? Like, I just like that.
That's excellent.
Talk to kids in the Midwest. I'm sure they would love you.
Yeah. So Scott, how was your relationship with your parents growing up? Like, who was driving the machine? Was it like mostly your idea and your parents were sort of guiding you, or were your parents going, "All right, Scotty, we've got an audition. Let's go. Get in the car."
I was always pretty mentally advanced for my years.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something that I aspired to do. It just sort of happened, and then we went from there. My dad was the one who drove me mostly from New Jersey into New York for auditions and so forth. So when you say who's driving the bus, well, he's driving the bus because I'm a kid.
But see, what happens is, like, once you book something, it starts to get really exciting for the parents. So it might be hard for them to read, like, oh, is this something that I really want, or that we really want, or that he really wants, or like, what's,
if I didn't want to do it, then it never would have happened.
Right.
There was never a point where I said, I'm just not enjoying this. I'm just not having a good time
You
with
didn't
it.
feel forced or anything?
No, not even no, listen, I went with flying colors. I mean,
But you guys must have seen parents, or you must see
Oh,
parents
God. Yeah.
where you're like,
yeah, we all have stories.
oh, yeah.
yeah. So what can you advise parents? Like, how can parents show good judgment in such an exciting profession where it's hard to discern, is what is happening the best thing for this particular child?
Well, if a kid if a kid wants to do it, a parent knows that right away. The kid's excited. The kid has, aspires that wants, oh, yeah, I want to do this. Oh, that's one side of the coin.
Like Eric.
Yeah. Eric is a perfect example of that. Then there's the other side of the coin where you basically have to take a kid kicking and screaming into an audition.
So you think their parents know that they don't want to do it? You think they know better and they're still going forward with that?
I'll make this a quick story.
Yeah.
It's about 18 years now since this happened, 18 or 20 years ago. I'm at an audition. It's an older brother, younger brother, and a younger sister. And I walked in the audition. I'm sitting there, and there's a woman with her child sitting across from me. And the kid's crying. I want to go play with my friends. I want to go play with my friends. No, you have to do this audition. No, I want to go play with my friends. That child should not have been there. And the kid just kept going. And of course, then it gets loud. And then the mother starts, whoosh, and she whacked the kid, and then I got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I walked over and I said, ma'am, your child shouldn't be here. Your child needs to go home. This is not the business for your child. Take your kid, let him go play soccer or baseball with his friends. And of course, then you get the absolute ultimate question. Well, what would you know?
So what?
Open Pandora's box. I said, ma'am, I've been in show business longer than you have been alive. Take your kid home. All you're doing is wasting your time, your effort, your money, your kid's time, and you're going to end up just creating a defective child.
Mm-hmm.
How can you not understand the kid doesn't want to be here? Well, we got to book this thing because we got to. Then it becomes what the parents need.
Right. They're out here for pilot season. They're renting
Exactly.
Oakwood. They have to make
The Oakwood.
the Oakwood.
Oh, yeah.
So why do you think they continue to push their kids like that? It is just because it becomes more about them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
it's
They're all those
disappointing to
people
hear.
who
But
are-
Showbiz.
They're living
Right.
vicariously
They
or
want to see
whatever.
their
the
child succeed more than the child wants to succeed themselves.
I
Yeah.
will say, though, on the flip side of that, though, coming from the parent side, is that in fairness to many parents who do sacrifice so much for kids in this business, who genuinely do want to be in it, just like anything else that kids do, or humans in general, adults and kids do, there are days of anything that we love passionately that we hate. There are days and there are parts of any job that we love passionately that are not fun. Like if you're a teacher, like maybe you hate writing lesson plans, or if you do podcasts, maybe you hate writing this thing out or whatever.
Yeah.
There are tasks involved with anything that we love that aren't great. And we also all have bad days. And as a parent, I would say that that's one of the trickiest things is if your kid is like a soccer star, like a soccer prodigy, there are days they don't want to go to practice. They're tired, or maybe they got an injury, or maybe there's like a kid who's being a bully to them, and they're crying that day and they don't want to go to practice. And it's always that like fine line of like, am I pushing or am I encouraging my child to follow through on what they made a commitment to? And so, that's hard. And I mean, as a stand-up, I even have jokes about that where it's like, oh, when your kid's famous, you can't beat them in public and stuff like that. But like, it is
True.
hard
Wow.
because people are watching you too. And there have been moments where Aubrey, when she was littler, of course, would be like, I don't want to do that, or I don't, or I remember like there was one day on set, she was only 4 or 5. It was like the first or second season she was on, and she clearly was just done with doing take after take after take, and she just like kind of went, I want to see my mommy now, and I felt like the worst mother in the world. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I gotten ourselves into? And because she looked like she was on the verge of tears. And I was like, oh my God. And they're like, you can do it again, Aubrey. Just get in there. I don't care about your kid, So, and obviously she's fine and she loves it. And it's been like the most amazing experience ever. But it can be very tricky.
I don't think I had a day where I just said, I'm done. I don't think that ever happened.
But I think you started a little older too.
I started 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, so I
all
could.
right.
Big difference
Between 4 and 8, that's a big difference.
Big
for
monstrous
sure.
difference in comprehension and understanding
Yeah.
and the people that you're around. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna.
Eric, you of course probably have never had a bad day in the past several years. Now have you?
I have definitely.
You haven't had a bad hair day, from what I'm seeing.
Oh, that
know,
got
right?
I
him.
just embarrassed the
That
teenager.
got him.
Round of
He's
applause.
like, wait a minute. Does
You
it
just
look
hit me
good?
right
Does it look good?
All right, we're going to break for commercial, and we'll be right back. The commercials are fun, so stay tuned.
Magus Elgar's apprentice, Udo Malaki, comes from a family of dangerous, exciting casters.
Hi, I'm Udo Malaki, and I do magic.
Even if his ambitions only go as far as staying alive.
I was really hoping you were going to say something a bit more positive.
Not exactly an ideal Magus. You can hear Udo Malaki and his exciting adventures in the upcoming radio comedy, Magus Elgar.
Visit MagusElgar.com to download your copy today.
Hey guys, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Kelly.
And we're the hosts of The Faves of Our Lives,
the podcast about everyone's favorite everythings.
This season, we talk about everyone's favorite TV shows by taking polls and comments on social media.
Join us for laughs, banter, and made-up words.
You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at The Faves of RL1. That's at The Faves of RL and the number 1.
Bye.
Oh my God. We're hearing some backstage stories. It's very exciting. Let's see. If you Google the words child star,
Oh, boy.
the top result is what these child stars look like today.
Oh, those are some of the funniest clickbait articles.
Yeah, so there's a
Oh,
lot
you
of
can possibly
clickbait about
find,
what
yeah.
these child
They've
stars
used Aubrey's image as clickbait for that.
Wow.
I'm like, she's still
still
a
a
child.
So what I want to know is, with the internet, are child actors more aware that there is life beyond what they are doing in this current moment, or at least their parents more aware of this is going to be something? Because I know when you're a child, you think that now is forever. And it kind of is for a moment or two, right? And it's hard. Like when someone would talk to me about like when you grow up and 100 years from now, they felt kind of comparable. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, both are really far away.
Yeah.
So I know that now feels like forever for Aubrey, as it did for you, as it probably does for Eric. But if you look at the internet, you can look back in time and see like these patterns, like, oh, all these kids were on all these shows and now they're clickbait. So what else do I want to learn while I'm a child and my brain is malleable, so that I'm prepared for she may want to be a director, she may want to be a writer, she may want to be a dentist. Like,
yeah, that's part of that ongoing conversation you
Cool,
asked
cool.
about. Absolutely, because, and I don't know, the whole idea of children being well-rounded is such a stupid American Western philosophy, but whatever. Be good at something and do that. But like the Chinese. But I do think that there is something to be said for just, she has a lot of friends who are just regular kids, and even her friends who are actors, like they're real friends and they do real kid things and they do stuff that has nothing to do with their jobs when they're together. They just act like normal kids. But that's definitely part of an ongoing conversation where, like, for instance, Aubrey is a pretty high-level equestrian. She's a horse jumper, which I hate because she's going to break her neck. But
Oh no,
okay, I fell off a horse and almost broke my neck. Anyway, but she loves it. And she's very passionate about it. And you know, we've talked about that. Like, okay, well, if you want to continue doing this, these are the steps you need to do. And if you want to continue acting, here are things that you should do. And if you ever want to stop acting, I'm totally supportive of that. And the entertainment industry is never going away. And you can always take a break from it and go back. You can quit and just decide you're done. You can keep trying and however you want to do it. That's up to you. That's your choice. But we talk a lot about, like, it's kind of cool that she's been on the same show for so long. She knows all the people. Like, there are people who do the makeup. There are people who do the food. There are people who design this. There are people who write the music. There are people that do the editing. There's the directors. And we've had amazing women directors and editors and stuff, too, on our show, and writers. So she's had really amazing role models in so many different places. And we talk about those things a lot.
And she's even had a chance to watch other child performers grow up. Because the older kids on that show are now adults.
Yeah, they're all like 20, 21 years old now, which is so trippy to me that they all have nicer cars and houses than I do. But Nolan and Ariel and Rico, no. But they're all they're the sweetest, nicest kids. I mean, we've been very blessed in that sense that all three of like the kids, the big kids, they're all have been amazing role models for Aubrey. Like, none of them have gotten into trouble. They all are kind, good people. They're all so talented and really hardworking, too. So she's been very lucky that she's been surrounded by that group of people.
That is awesome. Can you talk for a moment about what the program that you're starting of seminars to help other moms and other families that are going into this industry?
Yeah. So this is all like very new. We don't even have our website up. We've been working on it like for days now. But another mom in the business, we kind of all like go like that when we hear the term stage mom. But she's another stage parent. Some people have been using screen parent. Screen parent. Her name is Denise Cravetti, and her kids, she has 4 kids, and her 3 older kids all are actors, and they're quite successful and talented.
What does the other slacker do?
She's 9, loser. She's like in school. But I don't think she's interested in it, which is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, maybe at some point. But yeah, so that she has a daughter who's going to be a 9th grader, and then her twin sons, I think, are 11 right now. And they're the little blonde twins on Big Little Lies right now. They play Nicole Kidman's sons.
Wow.
And then her daughter was on a show called Colony, and then she was on a show called The Neighbors, and she was in the movie Joy, and she's the voice of Vampirina and Shine on Shimmer and Shine. And
So
they've got like their resumes are like blah, 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 and she's only like 15. So they're terrific kids. They're so talented. But I think, you know, between the two of us, our 4 kids between the two of us, 1 of mine and 3 of hers, have had 4 very different journeys in this business. And we both come out of a background of being performers ourselves. She did some work on Broadway and in theater, and then she moved here, and she is a working actor here in Los Angeles, as I have been for so long. So we have I think a different perspective than many parents in this business do, that we really have a wealth of information that a lot of parents just don't know about. And we've seen so many scams. We've seen so many people taken advantage of. We know parents who ended up living in their cars. I mean, there's just so much information and misinformation out there, and predatory scammers who are going after parents in this business. And we kind of felt like, look, we have so much knowledge that we can share with people that is helpful. And so we're putting together a seminar right now that we want to present around to different cities, because these other markets like Atlanta and Minneapolis and Chicago and all over, like, these parents come here with their kids wanting to help their kids with this dream, and they really don't have a clue about what they're about to get themselves into.
Right.
They think they might, and even the most well-informed come here and are like, holy crap, this is a little head spinning.
Yeah, because there's places where you do need to spend some money and invest in something, and then there's other places where it's a scam. And
oh gosh, you wouldn't even believe some of the scams.
So
The audition scams around the country.
Oh,
What
yeah,
exactly
or the people
is
who
that?
say, oh, I just saw one the other day that a dad TV friend of mine sent to me that a friend of this people they knew that took their daughter to it, and it said it was a Disney audition.
Mm-hmm.
And
They'll
so-
meet the casting director.
Yeah. And so they went to the audition, and then they were waiting to hear if they, they didn't even say what it was an audition for. And then they got a thing in the mail, or no, they called them back for a callback where they were presented with the sheet of packages they can buy. And we're talking like $1,400 will buy you this. $2,000 will buy you this.
Keep going.
$2,500. Yeah, and literally
$7,500, $12,000.
$4,500, which was like the gold package or whatever. One of the things they said that they would get was automatic acceptance into Pilot Week. That's not even a real thing. Like what? They're just making things up.
Is this school run by Trump?
Acceptance into Pilot Week?
So
What is that?
they think that they're being sold, getting further in the process to be on
that
this
they're
show
gonna
that
get
doesn't
directly
exist.
pitched. Yeah, and they're saying
Right.
we'll market you to
Got it.
the Disney people.
The Disney people, which is a casting director who's being paid by them
To fake.
to see.
Say that they're a Disney person.
I think it's someone who's
That is
been to
mind-blowing.
Disneyland. That's
Yeah.
the credential.
No. They actually.
I met Mickey.
They actually do have somebody from casting.
Okay.
Who that
Yeah,
person
sometimes
is
they
from
will, yeah.
casting, you're not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be the casting director's assistant who just came on last week, and they go, "Hey, listen, we're going to give you $2,000 for the weekend."
Or it's the janitor at the Disney building. Yeah, like
Right.
it's really
but oh no,
just-
and financing is available. Don't forget,
oh yeah.
that's in the program.
So it's just getting money out of people that don't have money.
Absolutely,
And then at the end of it, no one gets anything,
And
right?
Basically,
That's-
yeah. Well,
One
every once in a while,
in a blue moon.
a kid will
Okay.
get something,
Yeah,
and then they're like, "Wow, that becomes their poster child."
Yep.
And they put that kid on their website, because I'm sure you signed away all your image
Oh, yeah.
rights and everything.
So it's like 98% a scam, 99.9%
Yeah.
a scam.
yeah,
Well,
and
one
that's
of,
just
one of the
wrong.
That's awful.
fascinating
Just wrong.
things, though, or aspects of casting children is that children can change very rapidly, and so they always need new children who are a
Oh, yeah.
certain age. And I'm sure you've experienced that, Eric, where they maybe have
Broadway's brutal.
they have a headshot of you and you're a certain size, and then you get into audition and they're like, "Oh, we thought you were going to still be 2 inches shorter." And can that be heartbreaking for the child? Like that, the act of growing up is a disappointment to somebody.
For me, I'm 6'3".
Wow.
Yeah, I get the axe on a lot of things due to height.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think it's due to height, or maybe I'm just a terrible actor.
No, it could be once you get to be 18 that you'll be highly castable because
That's where I'm taking my legal 18s this coming October, so I can look like I'm 18 on paper, so I can work that amount of hours. And
you're like
Ah.
15.
yes.
what's that?
You're 15.
I'm 15 right now, but I'm going to test out and take my legal 18s.
So what does that mean? Test out and take my legal 18.
Here in California, they call it the CHESP.
All right. So
California High School Equivalency.
is this something
exam,
that children
proficiency exam?
Yeah.
That's it.
is this
It's
something
a-
that children
yeah.
should be doing? That means he can work longer on the set
It
without
really is individual preference because
Okay.
some kids really they're super ready for it and other kids are not. But all it means is that it's that you get your high school equivalency. You take this test and you pass it, and then it says that you can work the hours of an 18-year-old adult.
Okay,
And
but
so you're more desirable to casting because you can work more hours.
is that okay for a young developing mind to be working?
I think it's fine if the kid is ready. There are
Case
kids,
by case.
case by
basis.
case. Yeah, there are
Yeah.
many kids who they've been working like that for years,
Mm-hmm.
and they're totally ready and they love it, and they already own a house or whatever.
I mean,
right?
look, he could
But-
get in a High School Musical and work that many hours just because that's what's necessary to put on that show at that high
Right.
school. So
Well, for instance, we have some friends who their sons are, I think they're 15 or 16. I think they just turned 16. And they took the CHESP and they passed it, but they're still doing some high school classes just so they can be around because they're not working as series regulars or anything right now. But they have it so that they're ready if something comes up.
One of the things that I found interesting just about what you guys have been saying today is essentially that everything's case by case, but then that the people who are making the judgments on what should be done have poor judgment. And so that sounds to be generally that some of the parents or people don't know what they're getting into, or there's people taking advantage of them. That's where it seems to get dangerous.
Realistically, who's in charge of a kid?
Their parent.
Their parent.
Right, which is
Okay.
Yeah.
Not in show business. You have to understand show business is a completely different animal. In Amy's case, her daughter is on a show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have producers. The producers say, okay, you have to go here, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to. Well, my child, that doesn't matter.
Right.
We need her to do these things.
Yeah, they don't care.
The responsibility of the child is always the parent.
mm-hmm.
But the schedule of a child then becomes the producer of a show. Now, at the same time, of course, Aubrey is making, I'm sure, a decent check every week. For the
Right, but
show.
it is tricky
So-
because you get yourself this far in, and then you're not going to be the one going, "Hey, no, she's not doing that. She needs to."
Very few instances.
Yeah,
you know.
You can get out of contracts because there aren't people who are going to be like, we're going to force this 8-year-old to continue this contract. I mean, it can get tricky, and most people don't walk out of those situations. They just stay and they suck it up, and their kid does the work,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the show ends, and then
You know, when I was doing a
But-
lot of things with, one of the organizations for kids, there was a parent who was having a problem with her daughter, 12-year-old daughter, was on a show, and they were over promoting 5 days a week. It was hours every day.
Yeah.
And she said, my child is being run into the ground. She is now getting to the point where she doesn't even want to get up in the morning, but she has to.
yeah.
I said, go to the producer. It's almost simplistic. Go to the producer and say, listen, do you have children? Yes. Great. If your child, this is what's going on with your child, what would you do? And they would say, well, I would try and fix that. Well, that's why I'm here. This is what's going on. You need to cut some of this promo back 10 hours a week, 12 hours a week. You got to give my child time to be a child. The producer totally got it. No problem. And a week later, everything was straightened out, and everything was fine after
Really.
that.
So you
Yeah.
just speak up. You need
It's
to.
so important to have a good relationship with like your executive producers.
Yeah.
Sure.
and-
But they
absolutely.
understand.
And your studio
Children.
teachers.
Yeah.
Good studio
Children-
teachers key.
Children are different than adults. If I go, if as a 25-year-old, whatever, if I went to a producer and said, "Hey, man, I can't," they'd be like, "Really? You can go home now."
Yeah.
They don't care. Kids are different,
Kids are
and producer, executive producers, networks, they understand that.
They
How do you-
forget though. They forget.
Well, you have to
Well,
remind
because
them.
you- They're all-
do.
I'm sure.
Sometimes have to speak. up.
Everyone's under
Yeah.
a lot of pressure to get everything done, and there's a schedule, and there's a lot of people whose paychecks depend upon your child doing something, and so that's a lot. It could be overwhelming depending on the kid. So, like, once again, kid by kid basis. But do you guys feel like the laws in New York and California are adequate to protect kids from parents that maybe aren't looking out for the best interests of their
To
children?
protect from the parents? No, there's nothing.
It's an impossibility.
It's impossible.
How are you going to make laws
Well,
protecting
but,
kids
like,
from their own parents?
The money
Forget it.
situation, the Jackie Coogan laws, and stuff like that.
That's
very
different.
minimal.
What is
Yeah.
it? 15, 20?
15%
Yeah.
is the minimum that has to be put away job per job. And then the other 85% is up to the discretion of the parents. Now, it is there is a law that says it is illegal to spend that money, but nobody's policing it.
I see.
No.
So, a lot of kids still are having 85% of their money ripped off. And
Well, no, because you got Uncle
know.
Sam and the
But-
state
well,
boards
yeah,
and
yeah,
taxation
yeah.
and all that stuff. I one of the things I always wanted to see was 25% put away of whatever the net is after taxes. Whatever that number is, 25% should be stuck in an account for a child until they turn 18 years old. That's a decent number. What has gone on, though, is now you have more PR people, more managers, more sub-managers.
It's like a little industry.
Yes, and it takes a piece of the pie. Parents, there are good parents and there are bad parents, like in anything. I know, Gary Coleman and all the other horror stories that we've heard about child actors. Keith Coogan, his parent did this and he got that, and okay, fine, he worked it out, okay. Even Keith, he's the one who's grandpa it's based on.
Yeah.
You can't protect a child from their parent. That's
Right.
one of those things you just can't do.
No matter what's happening.
Even if
Yeah.
even if the parent spends whatever money after the taxes and the Coogan account, how are you going to prove anything? You're going to take a parent, Now, if a child goes back, child turns 18 and says, hey, you spent my money, you pissed my money away, I'm suing your ass. That's happened.
I think it happened with Gary.
it happened with
Mhm.
Gary, but
Yeah.
he didn't get any of the money back, so there was
No.
no money to get back. They
Yeah.
spent it.
Yeah.
But the house that the parents were in, he paid for.
Right. Well, and the thing, too, is that California, kind of what you were asking about, you can't protect kids from their own parents if the parents are crooked. You just can't. Just like any child. Like, if there's people at home beating their kids right now, there's nothing we can do about it. But, unless we live next door to them or
Within
something.
reason,
But California does have the strictest laws, child labor laws in the country. And I know that New York is even trying to make their laws more similar to ours. It's very different from state to state. But California, I think, just because we do have the most kids who work in the industry, we do have the strictest laws. And coming back to what I had mentioned before, like studio teachers are really, really key in enforcing.
And they're paying attention.
Yeah, because a lot of people are not aware, and this is one of those things that many parents are not aware of. Studio teachers don't just teach your kids. They act as their social workers.
Sure.
They're there to enforce those labor laws and make sure that your child is not in danger, make sure that they're not being overworked. I mean, we've been, once again, really lucky at Modern Family. Our studio teacher, her name is Sharon Sachs. She's been in the business for a long, long time. She knows the rules inside and out, and she really, really cares about the kids and cares about their education, which is sometimes hard to come by with studio teachers, that they actually really care that they're doing their work and learning and that they're being safe on set. Like, that's like the winning combination right there. But she is, I mean, even like when Aubrey was little, if she had like to wear like a weird thing on her head, and I remember she had like this little crown she had to wear, and she just said to Sharon, she was like, "This hurts my head." And she goes, "Okay, come here." And she walked her right over to wardrobe and said, "This hurts her head. You need to change it." She can't wear that for 5 hours if it hurts her head.
Yeah.
But that's part of their job too. They're looking out for the welfare and safety and comfort of your child to make sure that they're not being tortured at work.
Right.
Because the producers get busy. They don't always have time to pay attention to that
All
stuff.
right, we're going to talk social media real quick. Most parents have a difficult time determining when and how their children will develop a social media presence. But for a child who is already famous, was it particularly tricky? Is Aubrey on social media now? She's at that age where maybe her friends who are not in the industry are getting Instagram accounts and stuff. And so how do you protect her online?
It's hard. It's scary. That's probably the scariest thing because our generation didn't grow up with it. So we're like, oh my God. Right?
Yeah.
But so she just turned 12. So technically she's not even supposed to have those accounts. They're all like, you're supposed to be 13.
13. Okay.
Of course, there are billions of kids who have Instagram accounts who are like 10, 11, 12 years old. She does have an Instagram account. She does have a Twitter account. She's just Aubrey Anderson Emmons is her handle. Go ahead and follow her.
I looked up her Instagram and it says right on her Instagram that this page is run by parent monitored account. So is that the common terminology for child actors?
Yeah, parent monitored or parent run account or mom run or whatever. And I do the posts. I filter all of the comments. I go through and I delete out creepy people. I block people. There's, there's like a word filter too, where you can put in all the smarmy words that will block comments with those words.
Wow.
Yeah. So like no one can make a comment that says ugly on her feed.
Oh my God.
Right?
Are you kidding?
Oh my God. You want to get really depressed? Go to that list of words and read it out loud. You're like, at the end you're crying. It's like, oh God, these are like the worst words. And it was so creepy, like typing it out. I'm like, ugly bitch. Oh, I'm like, oh my. You get to the end and you've used the N word, the C word, and you're like, oh gosh. Like, but you don't want people posting that stuff on your kid's feed, right?
No,
commenting it.
And how is she with like
very tight control?
Is she at that age yet where she wants to like look at the image and make sure she's comfortable with how she looks?
Oh yeah, now she wants to see like, don't pay her to post that picture. I think I look funny or weird in that one. So she's definitely getting pickier about it. And because the thing is, eventually she is going to control it herself. So I'm trying to, now that she's a little older, trying to make it more of a joint effort where I'll be like, oh, do you want to post this picture? What do you want to say? That kind of stuff. But I have like total like veto power on everything.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Eric? Are your parents involved in your social media, or are you old enough to where they let you do it?
Well, when I started it was definitely like they kind of ran everything. They didn't let me use it at all. It was just something that I posed for photos, and that was that. Now I pretty much run almost all of it myself. I do have a management team that, helps me with numbers, and, I have a huge following at this point, in part like with,
it's the hair. I think it's the hair.
Now, it's not only me. There are these people, like I trust them full-heartedly. Like I've known them for a long time and they haven't backstabbed me yet. So
no, but you know what you're doing. You understand social media.
I know what I'm doing. I am like one of the most easygoing guys you'll ever meet. I like people call me ugly and stupid all the time. Like I understand that, Aubrey's a lot younger than I am, but I roll with the punches. Like people like that, they don't even, it makes me laugh more than anything. Like these people have nothing better to do than comment on some kid's Instagram page. You're stupid. Like, congrats. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've wasted 5 seconds of your day.
That's a great attitude. I don't know who's that sad that they want to go and type that. I mean, you, Scotty, when you were a child, this didn't exist. Like, you got letters in the mail. If someone was a fan of you, they wrote to you in the mail, right?
They wrote to you in the mail. Realistically, I mean, until the internet came along, you know, like IMDb, that was like a big deal. I used to have to read the notes that people would leave in IMDb. Oh, yeah. And, I got hammered and tortured. You know.
So what happens if you're Scotty Schwartz and you've got this body of work, and all of a sudden the internet comes to be, and all these people that have just loved you are suddenly able to reach out to you? Like, what do they say? Who are they? What's happening?
Oh, they always say, hi, I'm a big fan, or this or that, you know. And other people, you know, I really thought your movies were stupid. You know, so glad to see you grew up, you know, to be, 5 foot tall, and you're kind of pudgy, and, you know, you're like a mini Danny DeVito. I mean... Oh, I've gotten
that last one's a compliment.
Oh, sort of.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I mean, me too.
Yeah, there you go.
I've met him. It was really funny. You know.
Do they ever say like, "How's your tongue"?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You're kind of going for the basic stuff.
I know.
I mean, how about hey, did you like Freebase with Richard Pryor?
Oh God.
I mean, I got those. Oh yeah. Oh no,
Yeah,
I got some pretty harsh ones along the way.
Yeah, I haven't done a deep dive into what people could have possibly said to you.
But
I don't know if you want to.
But I guess that's
the most fun is being called a has-been.
What
I
does
always
that
love
even
that.
mean?
Well, it's just
everyone's
you did
future is in
something-
front of them.
Well, also, at least you were. A lot of people weren't.
Well, that's my
I
point.
know,
I say,
right?
well,
Oh,
listen,
Ryan.
I said I'd rather be a has-been than a never will be.
Exactly.
So thank you.
But to say
know?
that to somebody that was a child actor,
Oh, they have no mercy.
that's like ridiculous
Oh, yeah.
because no one peaks at 13, so that's
I'm
not.
just going to next year's the year.
Is
I've
that
got it planned out.
you got it?
well,
And then it's done.
it's just
see, the
steady
thing is,
decline from there.
Aubrey has the advantage of having done what she's done, and by the time she hits the years where she's going to figure out who she wants to be or what she wants to do, she doesn't really have to worry about too much.
But what
It's
I'm
not like
wondering
the
is
rent comes due when she turns 18, she won't have it.
when you
I wouldn't think.
No, yeah, she's doing all right.
we were
Yeah.
we were talking about this before the show, and I just feel like I know more about things with every passing year. Hopefully, that's what we do in our time on Earth, is we continue to evolve and learn and grow and mature.
Some people, absolutely.
Some people, but do you find yourself looking back on certain childhood experiences and suddenly seeing them in a different light because you have more wisdom now?
Yeah, not investing in Microsoft in 1982. Absolutely. Are you shitting me? Absolutely. And Microsoft, Apple, if you could go back and say, okay, what would you do different? That would be it.
If we had a magic time machine.
Very
Well, of
interesting. That's something I would have said.
Are you into investments and managing your money, Eric?
I'm more into just money in general.
Are you going to college?
But no, I do like stocks and investing and all the interesting little things.
Are you planning on going to college?
Yes, I do plan on hopefully, as of currently, my first choice is Juilliard, which I was just accepted into their pre-college division for opera, which is fantastic. And I hope to hopefully continue with that. That would be fantastic.
That would be wonderful. I mean,
Try to be a bass if you can, but I don't think so.
I'm currently a baritone. I mean, I want
Dime
to
a
be
dozen, dude. Dime a dozen.
Apparently-
I have
Oh,
a degree in
yeah.
classical music, so I know a lot of opera singers.
Scott,
I
we're
just
gonna-
want to say something to Eric. Eric,
Yes.
whatever you do, enjoy yourself.
I think he is.
And your
Enjoy
hair.
everything that you
Oh,
do.
trust me, I enjoy every minute of every day.
Yeah,
That's key.
Eric's a well-adjusted child. I think Eric's got it. He's good. I think Eric's good. I think we're helping, but I think he's pretty good. So I know that you have shows you want to promote. So if you would click on the link for graffiti.con, talk about that, please, Scott.
I'm going to be up in Modesto in a couple weeks.
And what are these? Are these autograph shows? Explain it and describe
Yeah,
if you would.
yeah, it's kind of for me, it's like a meet and greet at the Graffiti Con.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and the guy that I think he co-wrote Jaws, or I think he wrote Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be up there. It's June 23rd up in Modesto at the Center Plaza. Carl Gottlieb is the other guy that's going to be up there with me.
Okay,
and then,
cool.
then the week after that, I'll even though I'm not signing autographs, I will be at the Hollywood show at the down near LAX. What is the name of it starts with a W? The hotel. I can't even think of it. The Westin. Thank you very much. Very good. You were perfect. I'll be there, and I've got all kinds of stuff.
Cool. So you're doing stuff like that and putting on shows and producing events and that
Well, not
kind of-
those particular events. I'm not producing.
Oh,
I'm
you're just
going
appearing.
there.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. So we're going to cut to let's do Facebook feed time. This comes to us from my friend Jerry Lynn, and she posted I guess it's a meme. Is that a meme, Dina? When it's like there's no picture, but it's words on pink. Okay. She posted words on pink that say, name one thing from your childhood someone younger wouldn't understand. So
Without
let's see.
saying how old you are.
We're going to see if we can stump Eric. Yeah, without saying how old you are. So it's the game is called Stump Eric.
Oh God.
I got it already.
Okay, Scotty.
I'm good.
This seems very targeted.
Exactly.
A big wheel.
A big wheel, Eric. Do you know what a big wheel is? And I'll let Blaine and Thomas Google one.
Wait.
A big wheel.
A big wheel.
Even the pronunciation denotes lack of knowledge.
Big wheel.
A big wheel. Are we like, what is the context of this big wheel we're talking?
Context.
It's
It's called a big wheel.
It's called this
Yes.
particular thing is called a big wheel.
Yeah, okay.
About 90% of the kids that I knew had one.
I'll give you a hint, Eric. Aubrey, who's just turned 12, as you know, she actually knows what one is because she had to ride one in an episode of Modern Family. So it's something you ride.
You guys had it right. Put it back on the screen.
Ferris wheel.
No, it's like a little tricycle.
It's like a little tricycle
The
and
plastic
with
Oh, okay.
the
Well,
front
you-
wheel.
three-wheeler.
The front.
I was thrown off because he said 90% of kids have one, but you said you
Had.
ride. So I
Had
was like,
one.
Do 90% of kids
I
have
don't know,
Ferris wheels?
90% of kids had a Ferris wheel.
No,
but
Only
So
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
The way you know you're. The
But
way
like
you
a
know
big
you're.
wheel was cool because you could ride and then turn the wheels and it would spin out because the front wheel was much bigger.
okay.
But the way
And
you
they
knew you
invented
were.
one with that bar where you pull
And
up
nobody
and
got hurt.
spin.
Well, yeah, but the way you knew you were too old for one is your knees would start hitting the
couldn't fit
handlebars
anymore.
and you wouldn't fit anymore.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
I was a freshman in high school. Or actually, I was doing the toy. What am I saying? I was 14. And I was 4'5.5" tall and could still ride my big wheel at 14.
Damn. That's awesome.
That's the dream.
All right, who
Oh,
else
yeah.
has a reference? Who has a reference from their childhood that
Ooh.
Eric may not get? Because that was good, Scotty. You stumped him.
That was a good one. Okay.
Easy Bake Oven.
Oh, I know what it
They
is.
still make those.
They
I had
still
one.
make them?
They still make
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
They still do, I believe, actually.
You
put
cook you cook food with a light bulb. What could be healthier?
What was that?
Food.
Yeah, plastic with flavoring. What about Shrinky Dinks?
Shrinky dinks.
Ooh,
I was a
Shrinky
huge
Dinks.
fan of Shrinky Dinks.
Oh,
You drill
well, there goes that.
things, you put them in the oven, they like curl up. Oh, I love that.
She's a lot of retro now, so he may get
Well, granted,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
also
yeah,
not
yeah,
that
yeah,
much
yeah.
older than him, so-
ColecoVision.
I was gonna say, you look like a baby.
Ooh, ColecoVision
Oh
is a
my
good
God.
one, Scotty.
That sounds like something you'd find at Michael's.
Maybe.
It sounds like a
Depend
kaleidoscope.
on Michael who.
ColecoVision.
So ColecoVision was a video game system,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
Mike
Oh.
Tyson's knockout, ColecoVision.
All right, have you guys got it, Thomas? ColecoVision. How much is this going for on eBay?
Well, they actually have them now. They started making them again. They started making
really?
retro
Yeah, you
things.
can buy,
yeah.
yeah. It was a gaming system,
It
Eric.
was a gaming
It was a
system.
gaming system. All right, we're going to cut to... Thank you all for
That
playing.
TV.
I got one for you guys. Xbox.
Oh God.
Whoa.
Well,
yes. Xbox.
We
Look at the ColecoVision on Amazon game console. The image that they have is like some DOS on a screen. It's like,
I
wow.
know. What is it?
That
Click on the
looks
third one.
fun.
The third one looks like that's the. There you go.
There you go.
I'm
Oh
a
my God.
retro gamer person, so like I would have known. I'm surprised I didn't know about this.
You're probably more like into Atari or something, right?
No,
Yeah,
like
that's,
I'm
the
into
most
like
popular one.
Commodores and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah, that's
cool.
always fun. All right, we're going to
Wait,
cut.
the Commodores or the Commodore?
Commodore
the
gaming
computer?
system.
The
Gaming system.
Commodores.
But you can always listen to their music while
Three
you play.
times a lady.
Lionel Richie is trending for sure. What's
Do you know
Twitter?
who Lionel Richie is, Eric?
Of course.
Oh, good
Because he knows
Go,
his
go, go.
daughter. You know. Yeah.
We actually need to know about Lionel Richie for this next segment called "What's Twitter Trending." It is today. Hashtag creepy crawly bands was trending on Twitter.
There
So
you
this
go.
in from
One of the
Izzy.
greatest songs ever.
Izzy
I hate bugs.
TDFC
Can't do this one.
tweeted Earthworm and Fire. Hashtag.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's
So wait, is this just
Bugs.
like song names?
The
that
Beatles is too
that are-
obvious.
yeah.
right?
Maurice.
Yeah.
What is his last
Maurice
name?
White.
Thank you.
So hashtag creepy crawly bands is what's Twitter trending, Eric. So we have From Happiness.
you know what else is-
Not really a band, but okay. Lionel Itchy. Lionel Itchy.
Finally.
The other thing that's kind of Twitter trending is because I think Justin Bieber like challenged Brad Pitt to
talk
a
about that.
boxing match?
UFC fight.
UFC fight. So now you have to pick a celebrity 36 years older than you and tag them and
Wait,
challenge
was
them
Brad
to a
Pitt
fight.
and who?
Justin Bieber.
Bieber?
I think
Oh
it was
my
Brad
God.
Pitt, but it was
No, it was Tom Cruise. But does
Tom Cruise and Bieber.
Does Justin Bieber understand that this
Ooh,
did
I'd
not
pay to watch
end
that.
well for Andy Kaufman?
I don't think he understands a lot,
Challenge
honestly.
people to matches. Andy Kaufman got dropped on his head.
I know, but isn't he like
But
in
he
the next room?
really didn't get hurt though.
You think it was pretend?
He really didn't get hurt.
My money's on Tom Cruise.
My money's on Tom Cruise. He's got all of Scientology behind him.
I know, right?
So watch
And all the
out.
Mission Impossibles. It's
And
like-
of course, from JB Smith, what's Twitter trending? Hashtag Creepy Crawly Bands is the Stephen Miller Band. And all you need is a photograph of Stephen Miller for it to be creepy.
Okay, that's really funny.
I want to thank everyone for being with us today. Where can people find you online, Amy Anderson?
Don't go to my website. It's really out of date. But you can go to my IMDb. My IMDb. You go to my Instagram is the Amy Anderson, because some other biatch got Amy Anderson first. But the Amy Anderson.
Poser.
I'm also on Twitter with the same handle, but I don't really do much Twitter anymore. But yes,
Scotty,
Instagram.
where can we find you online?
You know, I just really started going up with my Instagram, and I'm trying to think of the name. I think it's Scott 56812, which is kind of my birthday intertwined. It's
Okay.
May 12th,
Cool.
68. But
Yeah.
Scott 56812.
You just got so old.
You got
right
there
now.
late enough to discover that you're not the first Scott on Instagram. So.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But that's okay.
I tried to
You're
get
Scott
Scott Schwartz.
But you can-
5,682.
Exactly.
You can get the authorized check mark because you are the Scotty Shorts.
Do you know I'm not even authorized yet because I have absolutely no idea how to do it.
My daughter is, but I'm not.
And Twitter's like putting the whole process on hold, even though they're still authorizing people or verifying
really?
people. They claim it's on hold.
I'm
still
going
doing
over to
it.
Jeremy Miller's, and they're going to show me how to do it.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have
Let
a
me
damn
know
clue.
because I don't need to be verified for anything, but I want to know how.
Eric, where can we
'Cause
find
hopefully
you
one day.
online?
43rd
You can find
Broadway.
me at Eric.Shuitt on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook as Eric Shuitt, and Twitter, same as my Instagram, Eric.Shuitt.
Exactly the same as your picture.
Yeah.
www.ericshuitt.com.
He has 144,000 followers. God bless him.
SCHUETT.
Awesome and excellent. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to our guests, Amy Anderson,
See you in
Scotty
New York,
Schwartz,
buddy.
Eric
Yay.
Shuitt. Thank you to my co-host Ryan Tabin, to our technical team, which is Lane McFadden and Thomas Hubble. Thank you, John Maddox, Bill Filipiak, Dina Friedman, and Steve Joyner. I am Louise Palanker. Be safe, be healthy, be kind. We'll see you next week.